It's a beautiful frozen day in Kansas City, and I'm getting my oil changed. So there's our pizza and Amir. I'm at Blue Label Racing, and you can hear Jorge probably as he's bringing my Mini into the shop, which seeing my own car get driven in is really weird.
Excuse me.
It sounds good though. And so this video is basically me trying to make a point, and I already realized that I'm probably wrong on this. See, I said the current generation Mini, the 10,000 mile oil change interval is sufficient. And Jorge has already told me that I'm probably incorrect on that.
No, I might be incorrect.
Huh?
I said, who knows? I might be incorrect.
You might be incorrect? Well, they can hear you talking anyway, so if I'm incorrect, you're incorrect, doesn't matter.
I'm just happy to have pizza, honestly.
He's just happy to have pizza.
Jorge, you need a food sponsor.
I do need a food sponsor.
This video is brought to you by Minsky's Pizza. Actually, no, it isn't because I paid for it. They didn't give us any pizza.
They don't love us enough.
But if you are in Kansas City and you want to get Minsky's Pizza, it is very good.
Arguably some of the best pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the way these wheels look.
I swear I washed it before I got here.
I mean, for being as snowy as it was, it's kind of clean.
Yeah, I washed it before I got here, and it looks like an icicle underneath.
All the
We
side
watched
road.
it for you, actually.
Oh, this is really sweet.
Well, I didn't want you to work on a dirty car,
Oh, that's fair.
but unfortunately,
I didn't change much.
yes, it is only 23 degrees outside.
I'm going to take that Undertray off so I don't get dripped on.
So instead of opening the little compartments, this thing looks like it's caught something at some point because it's loose.
It's fabric too, so they eventually start to kind of like sag a little bit.
Okay.
And it's wet.
Yeah. So in this case, taking the cover off is probably better than...
Yeah, that way I don't have to deal with all the water being dropped on my face. And
Yeah, that would be pleasant.
it's cold water. It's not even like...
No. For those of you curious what the underside of a JCW engine looks like, there it is.
Engine.
Ta-da!
Cool. Well, at least you're not leaking, so that's good.
No, I'd be more concerned if it were leaking.
Let's see if you're...
Of course, now that you said it, it's going to. There's a leaf in here. There's 2 leaves in here.
How do you not have a loose motor mount down there? It's wild.
The dog bone doesn't usually fail as quickly. It's usually the upper one.
We've seen quite a bit of like
Dog bone failure?
just blown out.
Could it be because I don't have the engine stop-start on?
I mean, potentially. All right, let's see if we can set this up to catch the oil somehow.
And it's warmer in here, so the car is already starting to thaw.
Yeah, no worries. It be that way sometimes. Stay.
And if you're curious what oil we're using, it's
Liquid moly. Not this one, but liquid moly.
liquid moly, yeah.
This is just our catch container.
This shop uses liquid moly, so the last couple of oil changes I've had here have been using liquid moly, which is nice.
I love liquid moly. I put that in everything.
Well, as you can see, I'm now using it in my car exclusively.
All our track cars get it too, so.
So why are we catching it, you said?
I want to measure the amount of oil roughly, because we can't include the amount that's stuck in the motor or the filter that is in here, and we can compare that to what it requires and see if it has burned anything.
Okay.
Or if you're just, within a reasonable amount of like oil loss.
See if I'm just having dumb luck, possibly.
But normally more frequent oil changes, I mean, the blacker the oil is, it means it's working because the detergent is actually cleaning like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
But even then, it's relatively clean, as you can see here.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty clean and oil.
still has some viscous. It's a little watery, but not too crazy.
Cool.
But we'll see once it's empty.
And that's a 5-quart jug.
It's actually 5.28. It's a 5 liter.
5.28. So.
Liquid moly's by liters for whatever reason. Well, it's European.
So this will show if I maybe need to change the oil more frequently?
But relatively. So most cars don't, like newer cars, you're not going to burn all the oil. But you'll have, with being boosted, heat, temperature, and all that stuff, you're going to lose some oil somewhere.
Yeah.
But if it's super like drastic, then you'll know, okay, I need to cut back my oil change intervals, but if it's like relatively fine, then you're good with doing your 10,000 mile oil changes.
Yeah, and it's usually not really that close to 10,000. It's somewhere between 9 and
Yeah.
8 and 9 usually.
I'm an oil change advocate. I love changing oil like 5,000 miles sometimes before, but it doesn't mean that's the correct thing. Like I said, modern oil is a lot better than older oil used to be.
Now, granted, the oil could last 10,000 miles, but there's the filter in there, that paper element.
Yeah, that too. And then, like I said, your viscosity starts to thin out. But like I said, if you filled this, if you had to be able to fill it, you'd feel that it still has some like lubrication to it. It's when this starts feeling like water coming out. That's
Yeah.
when you're like, okay, this oil. And that's another thing. You can go down the whole rabbit hole of oil quality, what oil are you using, the thickness of it, all that type of stuff.
The higher the quality of the oil, the usually better your chances.
Yep.
And liquid moly is a very high quality
Yep,
oil.
they
So
use. I mean, their ratings are really good, and we use them in our exotic cars and all sorts of things.
yeah,
But we'll let that drain out and go from there. Also, going back to your start-stop situation, BMW actually kind of proved that on these B48 or B46, whatever is on this one.
B46, yeah.
B46, they do not like start-stop. It's actually really bad for the motor.
yeah.
So leaving it off for these motors, that includes the Minis and the BMWs, would extend the longevity of your motor.
Which is something you can't do on the newer cars. You can't turn it off now.
Yep.
You have to manually switch it off.
Yep.
But in my case, I defaulted my car to run in sport mode, so these mounts here don't rock as frequently when the car is running because it's not constantly starting and stopping and starting and stopping. Speaking of starters, what is that?
What is what?
The Denso thing right there.
I can't see. I don't know if I'm looking at what you're looking at.
Denso 12 volt.
Oh, that's the starter, and then next to it's the solenoid.
Oh, okay. So speaking of starters, there it is.
Yep. That's the engagement solenoid, and that's the motor.
Oh, cool. Well, if I ever need to replace it, I know where it's located.
Yep, pretty easy to get to.
Yeah. A lot easier to get to than I thought. And then this up here is...
That's your oil level sensor.
Okay. So the oil pan's right there.
Yep, so this whole thing right here is the oil pan, oil level sensor, and then your miscellaneous wires that kind of read to everything.
Okay. So if your oil drops to a certain level, that thing sends a signal to the car that throws a warning light up there.
Correct, and that's also what tells you, like after you do the oil change, you let it idle and do its warm-up sequence. That's also what tells you how much oil is in the car since it doesn't have a dipstick.
Yeah. And I know people complain about the car not having a dipstick all the time.
It's a little silly. I mean, it's really inconvenient, especially for a quick check.
Well, it doesn't bother me really. I used to check it more frequently when it had a dipstick. Now I just kind of like let the car tell me.
Yep.
But these cars, technology-wise, have gotten so advanced, it's kind of just like it's doing what it's supposed to do.
And technically, I don't know if this has the sensor built into it or the temperature sensor built into it, or the other one, there's a temperature sensor in there too, so you can maintain or see the temperature of your oil.
I don't know if there is.
You should have an ability to check the oil temperature.
I think it's only on a certain gauge. I tried to set it up on Beamer code and it wouldn't let me.
Actually, I'm over here waiting for this to drain because I was going to put the plug in it, realizing that it's on a drain, so it doesn't matter if I pull this out or
No,
not.
it really doesn't.
Alrighty. So we'll get back to that in a second once it settles. I'm going to attempt to catch what's in this filter too to get a little better accurate
Copy.
reading.
So the oil filter's right there, and he's going to take that open so he can get a measurement from that as well for our little catch can over there.
Yep, and the nice thing is they provide a little drain plug for you.
Very nice. Otherwise, it's very, very messy.
Yes, it is. My hands are slippery.
Yeah.
Okay. See if I can even.
Now, just a warning to all of you out there: don't just walk out into a shop and stand under your car while it's getting worked on. I asked for permission to do this.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Yeah, please don't do that. I do have experience being under cars. You might not, but definitely, if you're going to come out and watch something, make sure you have their permission first. They don't usually want you out here for your safety. It's not they're trying to hide anything. They just don't want you to get hurt.
Literally it. Plus, we'll show you everything that's wrong with the car. We don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. If there's something they need to bring you out here for, they will genuinely bring you out to a shop to show you, hey, this is what's going on.
Which most places won't do that.
Yeah. This shop does.
We like to try to keep all the old parts too, to kind of show you what we did and, explain why we did it. We just want you to have the best running car, Mini, possible.
Or whatever you happen to have in the shop. I know there's an Audi R8 behind me.
There is.
Of course, it's not the best running car.
Needs some ECUs.
It needs some things right now.
You know what? That's just gonna sit right there. It's a little happy spot. And then another problem with doing this, obviously, we sat here for hours measuring it out.
We're just trying to get a general idea.
Yep. So at least on these pans, they're designed a little better. It just goes straight out down here. On the second gen minis, they had an issue with the way the plug was designed. There was a lip. It was probably about 3/4 of an inch up where the nut went into. So you'd always have like 3/4 of an inch oil sitting at the bottom.
Not good.
Yeah. So at least this way you get almost all the oil out of it.
Yeah.
At least with my vehicle, I like to have a suctioning system. I like to drain and hit the bottom of the pan and suck all the oil out. And then I don't even have to lift the car up.
Oh, man, I'm getting rain all under here.
There's a song about that.
No, it's my car. It happens. For anyone curious what that is, I think that's for your air conditioning.
Yep.
So whenever you see a little puddle under your car in the summertime, it's probably that. Mostly that. Usually that.
First and second gens will be looking underneath the car and you'll just get like wisp there and you can't figure it out because it's a tiny hole in the floorboard. And you think you just got blown on. You're like, what's going on? All right, I think we're going to get pretty close. I mean, reading, look at that. We'll let that settle. You don't need that because the new one comes with it.
Oh, good. Now this goes without saying, do not try to start the car while there's no oil in it.
You can. We'll fix it, but you can.
I mean, you can once. Won't be able to start it again.
You might get lucky.
Might get lucky, and then you need a brand new engine in your new JCW. Well, new-ish.
Hey, they're still new to me.
It says almost 93,000 miles on it now.
Compared to what I drive, these are definitely new. Also, if you do this yourself, please stop over-tightening these things.
Yeah.
They don't need it. It's like 20 newton meters, which is like hand tight. Boom. So there's your filter, which is relatively clean.
That's actually pretty nice.
Yep. It's not like too dark or anything.
No, I'm surprised.
So yeah, that's pretty nice.
Only thing that'd be cooler is if they made those reusable.
They have one. I don't know how I feel about it. I get the concept is nice, but I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, because it's kind of like a K&N.
Yeah, it's like a big metal super.
Yeah. So you're checking inside for like metal?
Just anything, just to see. Yeah, I mean, it's a clean motor.
There you go.
You don't even have like a. There'll be sometimes I'll change oils and I'll see like debris that I don't understand how it gets in there. It's like a leaf or paint. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for any of you wondering, I drive my car a lot, but I also take care of it. Word of caution, watch where you put your hands when you're walking around under a car, especially when it's dripping oil. I just had to wipe some off. Otherwise, underside of the car looks pretty good. I am rather surprised about that engine mount. Usually those tend to fail. And I'm sort of at the mileage where that would happen.
All right, let's swap out filters here.
So goodbye old filter.
Yep. On our trash pile. Don't mind me.
What was that, a little...
Just brake cleaner.
Brake cleaner?
Clean it out. You really need to do this? No, but at least you'll know that's like a little fresher.
Yeah.
Just,
And yes, everyone, you can use brake cleaner on that.
yep. As long as you don't use it's not going to fade it or anything.
No.
There's so much oil that's, I mean, look at that. It's
Now, is that thing metal or plastic?
This is plastic.
Oh, interesting.
Well, it could be like a fiber composite style thing, but I would call it plastic, but it's probably more likely fiber composite. But anyways, that's what I was telling you about the torque specs. 25 newton meters plus or minus 5.
Okay.
So literally it's hand tight.
So basically, just put that thing on, just go click, done.
I always use the torque wrench on them, but like I said, it's literally just not even, it's less than you think it is.
Well, because you don't want to force it, you don't want to break it.
Break it or get stuck, or then you're sitting here fighting, trying to get it off.
Well, and there's people out there who sometimes think if they don't tighten it tight enough that it might come loose. Like people who over tighten wheel bolts.
Yep.
I mean, you got 5 of them up there. If one of them's a little loose, the other 4 are going to still hold on.
Or spark plugs.
Spark plug, same thing.
Spark plugs do not have that much torque on them.
No.
I've seen them break. I have been on the receiving end of my own fault for over tightening spark plugs and getting them broken on the race car.
This is partly why if you're not comfortable doing stuff like this, let a professional do it.
Or at least research.
Yep.
I always encourage people to do their own if they feel comfortable doing it, but at least study and research. You're going to make mistakes, but don't be ignorant about it.
Exactly. And also always make sure you replace that
O-ring.
O-ring around the cap.
Most of every kit you buy online from like Mania or Northwest Motoring or whoever you want to buy it from, they're going to come with the entire kit. It's going to come with the washer, it's going to come with the crush ring, it's going to come with a new replacement one of these.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come with the new one of those, don't worry, it's not that big of a deal. But as long as you have that new washer and the new O-ring or the crush washer here, that's what's the most important.
So that little metal thing laying in the bin is a crush washer?
Yep.
Yep. There's the new filter.
Yep. And then
There's the opening where it was in. He's going to clean up that area a little bit, just to make sure everything's nice and clean.
Yep. Stay.
Ever done an oil change on an R53?
On an R53?
Uh-huh. First gen?
Yes. Yes.
The 32 millimeter
Yes.
flat socket.
Yeah, with the yeah.
For those of you wondering about that, the R53's oil filter was literally up against the firewall,
And it was metal,
and it was metal.
so it never came off this easy.
No, this is located at the front under the car.
Okay, see, barely touched that.
There you go.
So we're gonna get a torque wrench. Get the torque wrench here, set at 25 Newton meters. Literally, that's it.
That's it.
See, nothing.
It's torqued. Then there's that little plug.
Yep. I figured I'd just leave it out. It'll be like self-changing.
Now, is it a new plug every time, or is it the original plug?
So a lot of the kits come with a new one. As you
Okay.
can see, this is the old one here.
Okay.
There actually is a difference between the facelift or I think it's like after 2017 or something like that. There's a difference in them, but
Okay.
not by much. It's just the style. You don't have to replace this all the time.
Okay.
I would just make sure you don't over tighten it, and then obviously check that gasket and make sure it's not messed up. But a lot of the kits come with it, so
So in this case, might as well.
yeah, might as well do it. You know,
Yeah.
this is literally like, yeah, here, I'll even show you there. If you can see that 5 Newton meters.
Yep.
Yeah, that's barely hand tight too. So
So it's really not much that you have to like really tighten down with the oil system in the car.
no, it doesn't require like 1,000,000 pounds of force.
No.
That's what the gaskets are for. That's why the thread pitch is the way it is. I mean, they design it to not like fall apart. Like that. That's it.
There it is.
All right.
Oil filter's changed.
So now we're gonna put the plug in.
This is catching all the old oil along with debris. In our case, a little bit of slush.
Yup. Everything, water. All right. New crush washer. Probably one of the most important parts.
So now we get onto the drain plug.
You were so close to getting that in the face.
And I just got splashed.
That's funny.
I'll stand over here.
Same thing with this. This is like 26 Newton meters, I believe. And I mean, right now people don't think about it. I always kind of go a little bit over, but people don't think about it now because they're changing the oil. But when they start to get to like 200,000 miles, that bolt's going to strip.
Yep.
200,000 miles worth of oil changes. It's a lot.
200,000 miles on any engine is a lot.
So
This thing's going to have 200,000 miles on it at one point, I'm pretty sure.
it'll still be running too.
Huh?
It'll still be running too.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said,
It might develop like a water pump leak or something like that. But
it might get to that at one point. I know people with 200,000 miles still on their original clutch.
Yep.
I don't know how that's possible.
All right, we're gonna put the underbelly back on so it's not so naked.
Now, for those of you wondering, no, that is not a skid plate, but it does protect the underside of your engine.
It's more for noise too.
And it's
because
a bit of a noise
These
thing, too.
motors are kind of loud, actually.
Yeah, there's that wonderful thing. They are a loud motor. Well, it's a timing chain motor.
It's more like the injectors and then the tank vent valve, all those clicking solenoids.
Yeah, so when you all think your engines are ticking, it's like, oh, there's something wrong with the engine. No, probably not.
I see that a lot. People are like, my motor's ticking. Is that normal? And it's literally just injector noises, and
Yeah.
especially these B series motors, they're very loud.
Loud, but they work.
Oh, they're beautiful motors, honestly.
Yeah, this is the one generation of engine that BMW did a good job with.
Yeah. I mean, people talk about the failure points being the plastic stuff, but like every car has that, so
Yeah.
can't really blame BMW for saving money. But by now they're old enough where they start making aftermarket parts, metal ones, and all sorts of things. So why worry about that when you can
Yep.
just enjoy a tune and just go have fun? It's slippery.
Another reason why they say to be very careful when you're in a shop area.
Yeah, I have busted my butt pretty hard.
Yep. Don't want to do that. The good news is that belly pan was the easiest one I've ever seen removed on a car.
Yeah.
Although it does help to have a lift.
It bothers me they don't have, I mean, I know why, there's nothing there, but they have a spot here. There's no bolt.
Why is that?
There's just nothing there for it to bolt to.
Oh.
And on the convertibles, you have to remove the undertray because it's metal.
Oh, wow.
It won't, there's no
Okay, so the undertray on the convertible is metal.
Yep.
This is
like a fiber.
Fiber.
component. Yep.
Could you install the metal undertray on the convertible on these if you wanted?
I mean, I don't see why not. I just haven't looked in to see like where everything would bolt up.
Is it because of structural rigidity
Yep.
that they do that? Okay, so the one on the convertible is more of like a skid plate.
Yep, it's 100% more of a skid plate than anything, and it uses specialty. Like this uses 8 millimeters. The convertible uses like specialty Torx, like a tamper-proof thing, which doesn't make sense to me. But
Interesting.
yep,
I mean, so technically you could if you wanted to install it, but it sounds like it's probably not necessary.
like I said, I haven't actually had two of them on the lift to compare. Like, oh, what would you have to transfer from the convertible to here, or does it literally just bolt up? I haven't actually compared.
Something to look into. So if anyone out there has done it, leave a comment below and let me know.
But they also do make aftermarket metal ones. So
I knew that. They knew to make aftermarket skid plates. Yeah, those wheels look pretty good. And here I am thinking of changing the wheels again.
stop, stop.
I'm probably going to change the tires.
I think the wheels look pretty. It fits this car very well.
Yeah, I think I might change the tires at some point. Those Hankooks are okay, but I think I might go back to Continentals.
I don't blame you. Let me remember how much oil this car is supposed to take.
Okay, so you remember earlier we took the oil out of the car and put it into this catch bottle right here. So Jorge, tell me what we were trying to do here. We were trying to show how much oil was still in the car.
Well, yeah, how much the oil has been consumed over the 10,000 mile period,
Okay.
roughly, not exactly. But your car is supposed to take 5.3 liters. So in liquid moly, the full 5 liters is here. So he's probably, you're a liter
Yeah.
short plus 0.3. So you're 1.3 liters short.
Okay, so car uses 5.3 liters. I'm about 1.3 liters short, so
Yep.
that's how much I've used, basically.
Yeah, or how much is burned, or, I mean, like I said, you can't be accurate because some of that's going to be stuck in the motor. But
Yeah.
with this, up being a quart, like a liter short, I would change your intervals like maybe 2,000 miles. So maybe instead of 10,000, I would do like 7,500 miles.
7,500? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so the person that commented that I really need to change my oil more frequently, would you say he's right then, probably?
Yeah, relatively. I mean,
Between 6 and 8, probably?
yeah, but like I said, that also depends on cars.
Okay.
But personally, I think a happier number to me is like 65 to 7.
Okay. So I need to just watch it more frequently, especially with the mileage starting to get up there. I'm getting ready to pass 93,000 miles.
Yeah, like
so.
seals are going to start leaking and little stuff like that. But this being said, doesn't mean it's unhealthy.
Okay.
I mean, it is a boosted car.
What's the average? Yeah, it is. That is true. And it's a bigger turbo than the original turbo that's in the car. So what's on average that typical thing for a Mini to burn to use that kind of much oil?
Yeah, I mean, on these newer ones, yeah. I mean, the older ones, yeah, the older ones we've had to come in with a liter or so.
The older ones the older ones just drank it.
Yeah. But I mean, that's relatively healthy for a newer motor.
Yeah.
Well, I say newer; it's still older, but
Well, it's an older motor now because of the mileage on it. It's a not a very old car, but it is technically now considered a very old motor.
yeah. I'd be more concerned if it was like brand new doing that. But
Yeah.
okay. And like I said, this is a rough. You can be, half a quart can be still stuck inside that motor. So
Copy that. All right, then. So, I was incorrect on the 10,000 mile service interval, basically. So, change it a little bit more frequently. I'll probably start looking at it a little bit more closely when it hits 7,000 miles, 7,000 miles, and start changing it more closer to then. All right, then. So, now that we figured that out, next thing you got to do now is add, was 5.3?
yep, 5.3 liters of 0-20, and then yeah, she's done. Really.
Then it'll be all done.
Yeah, you can always verify and check.
Okay.
You put 5.23 liters in it, but I mean, you put 5.3 liters in it, it's going to have 5.3 liters.
Exactly.
So,
all right, then. So there's going to be that. There's going to be that. I know you were going to check the
motor mount.
Motor mount.
Yeah, you can check that right now.
And
actually.
then later check the alignment.
So now, I mean, could you use it? Yeah, but it's not like, I wouldn't say it's detrimental.
Let me see.
So
You can show me.
it's going
I
to
don't
be
know
hard.
if the camera can see it.
If you look from here,
There you go. You can kind of see it.
this camera kind of the flashlight kind of washes things out.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah.
But normally you'll see, like, you kind of see that split on
Yeah.
the left. I would quote a motor mount because we've seen them, collapse that way. Mm-hmm. But you're not leaking fluid yet, so if you couldn't do it right away, I wouldn't worry about it. But
yeah,
you're
if
gonna
I'm
need it
leaking
pretty
fluid.
soon.
Yeah. Okay. So I can see what you're talking about. So is that normal? So how often do you usually see these mounts fail?
All the time.
How soon usually?
Soon, I couldn't tell you.
No.
I mean, I couldn't tell you because some of the cars that come in have like 60, 70, 80,000 miles. So
Okay.
really couldn't tell you, but all of them fail. We have
Okay.
not seen one that has not failed yet. So
Would you recommend, if I replace the engine mount at some point, would you recommend also doing the PowerFlex inserts?
yes,
Okay, so you'd recommend doing those too?
yep, because it's going to fail again. Not until BMW can figure out their system for that motor mount. I don't know why it's designed that way, but every single one of them is failed.
Now, there was one we saw, Amir and I saw one that was an aftermarket that was made for this car. They don't make it anymore.
Yep, and I think it was pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
I'm all for modifying your car, but like not putting race car parts on it because then
No.
what winds up happening is you ruin it and then you
Yeah.
get rid of it and you go through this whole cycle.
And I know from experience,
Yep.
do not do like solid polyurethane, stuff like that, because I had one on my R53 and it made the whole car vibrate.
Yep.
So it was like, why the heck did I do that? I got talked into it.
Awful. It's awful. I've had that mistake too. So my car, I'm very, very picky about what I put on it. My coilovers are almost too much as it is. So
Well, speaking of the coilovers, I got to make some adjustments there at some point. But there you have it. That's basically it for this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank Jorge for helping me out here. Check out the link to his YouTube channel. What's it called?
Zetro Racing.
Zetro Racing. It'll be in the video description below. He's doing a rebuild. He's finished the car, but he's chronicled the rebuild of his engine on his R55 Clubman. And pretty cool process to see how it goes from basically stripped down engine to running car. So
Yep.
check that out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.
Bye.